Kia ora team, and welcome to Big Boys Boxing, where we're all about exactly that. The big boys. With big knockouts. And the big fights. So let's get into this. What is going on, team? Hope everybody is doing well, safe, healthy, all that jazz. So today, it looks like we're coming into a bit of a heavyweight season. Whoop whoop. It's good for the big boys. But first off, since you're here, you're interested in heavyweights, I guess, and to stay up to date, you'd best hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe, and that bell icon for future content notifications. Yes, I've been a bit slack lately, but there hasn't been a lot going on with the bigger boys. Plus, it's been school holidays. Today is the first day my boys are back at school, so I'm once again born free. As free as the wind blows. So I'm happy. Now, I guess, for starters, I should drop a link for anybody who may like to join. Popcorn Boxing in the house. Hi, good to see you, man. So, here is a link to join. The stupid like icon's covering my 3 dots, so I can't pin it. There we go. Zoom out a bit. There we go. So that link is pinned to the top to join. We've got a little bit to talk about that happened over the weekend with a couple of fights, but one heavyweight fight in particular. We might have a new journeyman level guy out of Mexico that I'd never seen before, but we'll get to that in a minute. Just let me make sure I get over and into this channel, so if anyone joins, I will know about it. There we go, I am in there. Icons up, we good. Alright, the chat isn't showing. What the hell now? Let me just sort these little issues out while a few of y'all roll in before we get started proper. My chat box isn't right. Chat box isn't coming up on the screen. Why? Urgh. Few little adjustments here, fellas. Give me a sec. Won't let me move it. Why won't it let me move it? God damn it. Oh, I don't know. It'll have to do. Hopefully the chat comes up sooner or later. Anyways, it is what it is. So over the weekend we had Jermaine Franklin Jr. coming off 2 straight losses to Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. Took on a 6'1" Mexican guy, Isaac. What was his name? Munoz. That's it. Isaac Munoz. Now, I'd never heard of this dude, never seen him before. All his fights have been in Mexico in the past. But I assumed Jermaine Franklin should be able to get this guy out of there later on. But he's just proved once again that he's got feather fists, man. Dude can't punch for shit. He threw the kitchen sink at this dude and hit him with a hell of a lot of big shots. They look like big shots, but nothing really hurt him. There was one body shot, right hook to the body, that kind of buckled him a bit halfway through the fight. But, the first round, this guy looked pretty good. He was up on his toes, throwing good straight punches. His defense wasn't too bad. I thought, oh shit, Franklin might be in for a bit of a fright here. I think he's still got a bit of a fright that this guy didn't topple over at some point, but yeah, it was what it was. Muniz went the distance with Jermaine Franklin. I guess from here on in, Jermaine Franklin's known as a guy that's he's got fast hands, he can box a bit, extremely durable, but he can't hurt you. So he's going to get a lot of fights for up-and-coming prospects. And this Isaac Muniz, first fight out of Mexico, did a lot better than most expected. So he might get a couple of fights for prospects and up-and-comers as well. We'll see how he goes. So that was interesting. So without further ado, I suppose we should get into the news that's floating around. We'll start with, there is a card on ESPN this weekend that's got a few heavyweights on it. Just let me change it to the full event, not just the heavyweights, and then I'll put it on the screen for y'all. There we go. Here is the event this weekend coming up. As you can see, it's on ESPN. God damn, my mouse has changed color again. It's supposed to be inverted. It's easier for y'all to see, but anyway. Yeah, so George Kambosos v Maxi Hughes is the main event on there, but we've got a stack of heavyweights. This Keyshawn Davis is not heavyweight. He's got, I think it's his brother, is Cashawn Davis. He's up and coming. He's only got a few fights and he's moving on up too. But Giovanni's there. I don't think this is heavyweight either. Oh, there's a few fights on there that aren't heavyweight, but then it moves into the heavyweights. This one here is going to be quite interesting. Aaron Sands, 12-2. He's going to be taking on Hemi the Ahio, New Zealand boy. Last time out, Hemi fought Django Apilu and really didn't look like himself. He didn't go down, but the fight got stopped because he wasn't answering. So normally I'd say Hemi would blow this dude out of the water, but after Hemi's last performance, I'm not quite so sure. He's listed as the B side here, so we'll see what happens. I'd still probably pick Hemi Ahio for a stoppage. I can't remember how big Aaron Sands is, so we'll have a quick look. He's 6'6". He's a tall dude. He's only got a short reach though, 78-inch reach. Shit, I can't remember what this guy fights like, so I can't make too much of a prediction without doing a bit more research. I can't remember seeing him. If he moves a lot and he's got a good jab, he could be a problem for Hemi, but Hemi, he bowls forward, throws big hooks, big overhands, big uppercuts. We'll see what happens. This one here, Ronnie Hines v Michael Pyrrhotton. I don't know this dude either. He's 7-0 though. Who the hell is this dude? 7-0, 3 knockouts. So he hasn't got a lot of power that early in your career. You should be knocking out the journeyman if that's who you're fighting. No registered reach. 2-0. Okay, don't know who that dude was. 3-0, okay. Jonathan Gerber. Okay, he fought over the weekend. for last weekend and got a first round stoppage, so that's a decent win. Bum. Not quite a bum, but new in the career. Okay, so I don't know. This one could be a little interesting, but I expect Ronnie Hines will probably come away with the win, but it could be more competitive. Like I say, I don't know too much about the opponents. Stephen Shaw, this one here is going to be an awesome fight. Stephen Shaw and Joseph Goodall. Joseph Goodall was like maybe the third heavyweight in Australia. He was coached by Kevin Barry. I don't know if he still is. So Alfonso Falso, he smoked him, but there was the fight that he lost, his first loss. He went the distance with Justice Huni. Justice Huni pretty much picked and poked him, landed a few shots. Justice doesn't have a lot of power, but he's a very good boxer, mover, punch selection, whereas Joseph Goodall's a guy who's going to come to try and knock you out. So the style matchup with him and Shaw is probably going to favour Shaw, because Shaw's a very good counter puncher, but the volume that Joseph Goodall puts out could be a problem for Stephen Shaw. But that's a real good fight, man. So the Aaron Sands v Hemi Ahio and Stephen Shaw v Joseph Goodall are the two fights to look out for this weekend on that card in particular. We've also got Jeremiah Milton, up and coming prospect, coming through. He's going to be taking on Willie Harvey. I don't know this dude. He doesn't look like he's going to be too much of a problem for Jeremiah Milton. I did hear a whisper that F.A. Ajugba might end up on this card, but I think it's too late now, so we'll see what happens. So that's this card for this weekend. Let's have a quick look and see if we can find any more. There's all the heavyweights. This is just heavyweights listed, right? Daniel Bean, I've seen that dude, but not televised. So what else we got here? Joseph Turk, I've seen this dude as well, 3-1. He's got one draw, didn't know that, and it'll be a straightforward win for him. So just we'll have a quick look at the next page and see what else there is, and then we'll get into some of the big heavyweight fights that are going to be happening in the next few months. Okay, this one's on DAZN. Alan Belcher, 5-0. Don't know the dude. It's only a 4-rounder. Hasim Rahman Jr. He's back in the ring. Okay. Well, we know all about Hasim Rahman Jr. We know what level he's on, so it's going to be a good indicator to give us an idea of what this Alan Belcher is. No, it's not Belcher. Yeah, it is. Alan Belcher. So we'll get a good gauge on this guy, and we get to see it because it's on DAZN. That's good. This one's still the 22nd. Joe Marines. Yeah, no names, no televised. I think that's probably it for the weekend. Yeah, see, that's Monday. Okay, so that is that for next weekend. There is some great heavyweight action to look forward to. And yeah, hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit that bell icon for future notifications. Let's get rid of that subscribe thing that keeps coming up, eh? Right. So, let me whip over to the chat, see if anybody's talking there. No, nobody in there. Alright, so the fight's coming up the 12th of August, we have Anthony Joshua v Dillian Whyte 2. It's going to be on pay-per-view. I don't know if it's pay-per-view worthy anymore. It probably used to be when Anthony Joshua was the champion, and before Dillian Whyte started getting knocked out all over the place. But it's certainly a little bit intriguing considering the flaws that have developed, that have been shown for the two fighters. I'm just bringing it up on BoxRec because I know there's another heavyweight fight on there already. So Anthony Joshua is coming off a win, which is a good thing. He had a points victory over Jermaine Franklin in a performance that many say exposes the fact that Anthony Joshua doesn't have dog anymore. He's not hungry for knockouts anymore. He's more worried about just getting the win, which is fine. But the only issue is his value is coming down slowly. It's coming down because he's not knocking dudes out anymore. I mean, prior to the Franklin loss, of course, he had the 2 points losses to Alexander Usyk, and before that he knocked out old man Pulev in 9 rounds. And of course before that was his return victory over Andy Ruiz. So he hasn't been very active. Well, I suppose mediocre active. But yeah, like everyone's saying, you know, his dog's gone. He's worried about getting hit. I don't think his chin is gone or anything though. You know, he's never really had the greatest chin, but he hasn't got a glass chin. And working on his stamina for those Alexander Usyk fight, I think had been beneficial for him, because we know he had a poor gas tank at times. He said himself after the Usyk, I can't remember which one it was, the first one or the second one, but he says I'm not a 12-round fighter. You know, the way he wants to fight and knock people out, if he tries to do that for 12 rounds, he's going to get knocked out because he's going to gas out, right? So we shall see what happens. Anthony Joshua, just a quick reminder, is 25-3 with no draws. He is 6'6", 33 years of age, orthodox, with the 82-inch reach. So moving on to Dillian Whyte. Kachinga. He is 29-3 with no draws. He is 36 years old, getting longer in the tooth. Orthodox, 6'4", 78-inch reach. He is coming off a majority decision win over Jermaine Franklin. Once again, it seemed like a bit of a lackluster performance. But in saying that, Jermaine Franklin is that type of fighter that he's got actually pretty quick hands. His feet are slow as mud, but he can make you look bad because he slips punches. He does eat a few, but he's got a very good chin. So Dillian Whyte escaped out of that one with a majority draw. He's been in a lot of close fights and a lot of wars, and in my opinion, Dillian Whyte, I call him White China, with how easily Tyson Fury knocked him out in 6 rounds, without Dillian really landing anything on Tyson to worry him whatsoever. You know, it's a worry. I think Anthony Joshua hits considerably harder than Tyson Fury, and if Anthony Joshua can land something substantial on Dillian Whyte early, it could be over the first time he goes down. I think his chin is that bad. I mean, we heard the excuse from Dillian when he got knocked out. He said, "Oh, Tyson pushed me and I banged my head on the ground. That's what knocked me out." Sorry, mate. It was the uppercut that knocked you out. You were standing on your feet. He could have hit you again and done more damage, but he did push you. And when you went down, your head did not hit the ground. Go watch the replay. You were knocked out on your feet. You just got pushed over almost out of mercy. So I think it's a real problem for Dillian Whyte. You know, we've seen him sparkoed the first time as a pro by Anthony Joshua. We've seen him sparkoed by Alexander Povetkin. And we've seen him sparkoed by Tyson Fury. So in all reality, at this point, I'm picking Anthony Joshua to stop Dillian Whyte rounds 8 or 9. But I would not at all be surprised if Anthony Joshua wins it on points due to the fact that he's just not going for the gusto. But then, once again, if Dillian Whyte can land something big like he did in the first fight, you know, he landed a big left hook in the second round of the first fight. If he can do that to Joshua now, I don't know if Anthony Joshua recovers. Things are a bit different when he's been knocked out once and then boxed around the ring a couple of times. So it's actually a pretty good fight considering the flaws of both guys. I am looking forward to it. Now there is another heavyweight fight confirmed to be on this card. It is Philip El Animal Hrgovic. He will be taking on Dempsey, the Tower of Terror McKean. McKean is unbeaten. He has fought nobody. Well, I guess I shouldn't say nobody. There's a couple of fights that I think he scraped out of, got in his way out of the fights with a win when I don't think he should have. I thought Kiki Toa-Latali beat him. I can't remember, did he knock him down or did he nearly knock him down in the last round? Let me have a look. Where's the scores? That'll tell me. Score. The scores. The fans scored it 93-97 in favour of Kiki Toa-Latali. Proves my point, right? 93-97 Latali. The first actual judge scored it 98-91. How the fuck? Second judge 97-93. And third judge 98-92. So I don't know what they must have been. Goddamn Australian judges. Let me see. Yeah, the fans had it 93-97 to Kiki Toa-Latali. We had Alan Burford. Says AB next to it. I'm not sure what that means. He had 98-92. Alan Height, AH next to him. Must be Australian boxing, Australian something, I don't know. And the last judge was Rodney Marsh. Says RM next to him. 98-92. So how the hell can the fans score it that wide to Kiki Toa-Latali and the judges turn around and score it so heavily the other way? Screams fucking robbery to me. Anyways, that was the first one that I thought Dempsey McKean actually lost. And there was a Johnny Rice fight too, I think was the other one. There it is. And this was more of the old Jonathan Rice. You know, there's two Jonathan Rices back. When Johnny Rice was fighting earlier, before he fought Michael Polite Coffee, he was fighting on the back foot a lot more. He was moving a lot more. It was more of a box and move kind of fighter. But since he beat Michael Polite Coffee, he's actually got a bit more confidence in himself, and he's doing a lot better now as Jonathan Rice. But anyways, this Jonathan Rice v Dempsey McKean fight. Oh shit, now I've lost it. There it is. It was actually the fight straight before Kiki Latali. Look at the scores here. So the fans scored it 85-86 to Rice. Ah, that's right. Was this a bullshit stoppage? It was a bullshit stoppage. That's right, I remember. Rice wasn't in trouble. They stopped it in round 9. And Rice was ahead on the fans card. But once again in Australia, all of the judges, 87-84, 87-84, 88-83. It's disgusting how bad the judges are getting these fights in favour of McKean. All because they're in Australia. What the fudge? What's the other one here? These judges. Phil Gregory, PG, in brackets. Alan Height, that same dude that scored the other one, 87-84. Paul Williams, RW, 88-83. Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyways, to the fight. Dempsey McKean, the gangly, clumsy Tower of Tekor, which is a Māori word for faces. He's going to get animalized. He's going to get smashed over. I can see Dempsey McKean trying to run away for the first few rounds, but that's not going to work with Hrgovic. He's going to be on him like a fly on shit, man. So I expect Filip Hrgovic to get Dempsey McKean out of there before 6 rounds. This one is going to be a 12 rounder. So yeah, it's not a necessary fight for Filip Hrgovic. He's already the IBF mandatory, but he's going to take on Dempsey McKean anyway. Both DAZN fighters, easy to make. I see Callis Ireland is co-promoter for, well, he's actually the primary promoter for Filip Hrgovic. He's talking about getting this out of the way and potentially getting his title shot later on this year. Yeah, he's fucking dreaming. He's dreaming. I guess it could happen, I suppose. If the diva Tyson Fury can't be coerced into an undisputed fight in December, then I guess Filip Hrgovic's an option to put on the card with Joshua and Wilder, provided Wilder gets past, well, provided Joshua gets past White and Wilder gets past Ruiz. I heard they are making that fight. But anyway, there's one more fight on that card as well. Johnny Fisher is going to be taking on Harry Armstrong. I believe that's a Southern Area title. It doesn't say any. Oh yeah, it does. Here we go. British Board of Boxing Control Southern Area Heavyweight title is vacant. So there you go. Could be a decent fight. We know all about Johnny Fisher. We've seen him all over the broadcast. I don't think we've seen a lot of Harry Armstrong. Currently he's 5-0 with no KOs, 1 loss. He's orthodox, 6'6", no registered reach. Who did he lose to? Jermaine. I can never say this guy's name. Shakiva, that's it. Starts with a T like the shoes. Jermaine Shakiva, who was 3-0. Beat him on an 8 round points decision, so that's interesting. Okay, so that was the August 12th card with 3 heavyweight fights on it. The following weekend is the 18th. I don't think there's anything on there. On the 26th is another big weekend. No, I'm not going to talk about that one yet. We'll go to the Usyk Dubois fight next. Daniel Dubois, the WBA regular champion. He is going to be taking on Alexander Usyk in Poland. Daniel Dubois is the mandatory. Hopefully the WBA is finally going to dissolve this WBA regular belt. It's been hanging around for years. It's a fake title. We all know it's a fake title, so get the fuck rid of it. Anyways, we have the Alexander Usyk v Daniel Dubois fight on the 26th of August. Is it in Warsaw? No, it's in... How do we say this? Mroclaw? Must be Mroclaw. Mroclaw. So Usyk is 20-0. Dubois is 19-1. So they both had the same amount of fights. We know Daniel Dubois got stopped with the busted orbital against Joe Joyce. Since then, he's made his comeback after losing to Joyce. He smashed over Bogdan Dinu in 2 rounds. Then he beat Joe Casamano. He knocked him out in the first round. It was a very disappointing performance from Joe Casamano, that one. Considering what we saw Casamano do to Adam Kalnacki a couple weeks ago. That was a very poor performance. And then he took on Trevor Bryan. And that was for this WBA regular title. And he knocked Dubois out in 3 rounds. He almost lost again to Kevin Lerena in a very dodgy fight. Daniel Dubois went down 3 times in the second round. The first one, he got caught with something. He went down and he hurt his leg on the way down. The next 2 times, Lerena was coming forward trying to put pressure, and Dubois was taking a knee to try and recover. I think he tore his ACL or something like that. And then he came out trying to punch. At the end of the 3rd round, the bell had gone. Dubois threw a punch and didn't even put Lerena down, I don't think. He did put him down actually, and then he tried to finish him off. And the ref stopped the fight. I can't remember. I don't think Lerena actually went down. He was against the ropes, taking a few shots, but he was defending, and the ref fucking stepped in and stopped the fight. The first round was where Daniel Dubois went down 3 times, so it was a 6-10 round. The next round he stayed on his feet, but it was only 2 rounds. I thought. Yeah, there. Okay. He went down 3 times in the first round. It doesn't say Lerena went down. No, he didn't. He copped a shot right at the end of the round of the second round, and he was in trouble, but the bell went. Daniel Dubois threw a couple more punches, and then the ref stopped the fight after the bell went. So he got a gift. And to me, you know, Kevin Lorena's a southpaw. He's came up from cruiserweight. He's nowhere near the level of Alexander Usyk, and he did that to Daniel Dubois in the first round, put him down. So I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk knocks Daniel Dubois out, to be honest. It might take him a while. I can't see Daniel Dubois landing big shots on Usyk. He's too evasive. He's too smart. He sees everything coming. I mean, Daniel Dubois certainly has a puncher's chance because he can bang, but the likelihood of him being able to land flush on Alexander Usyk, to me, is pretty low. Pretty low. So we'll see what happens there when the time comes. We've also got Adim Hamed on this card, who's a debut. And it's got question mark for the rounds and question mark and TBA for the opponent. So we'll see what happens there. I don't even know who they are, but it's of no consequence because I don't really care. Anyways, hey, we got Phil Carl Roberts is in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you are well. What do we got here? Just have a quick look through what you've been saying. Johnny Fisher v Henry Armstrong is also on the Joshua White card. Yeah, mate. Yep. I think Usyk. What's going on here? I think Usyk will stop the Dubois. Yeah, I think it's just going to be an accumulation. I mean, with the punches coming from everywhere, every angle, all over the place, it's soon going to add up, and it could be a real problem for Dubois. And I don't really have a lot of faith in Dubois' chin after seeing him get hurt so bad just with the first punch from Kevin Lorena, you know. We'll see what happens. Alright, lads, Triple D got a new trainer. Yeah, Don Charles, Derek Chisora's old trainer. But it would be a massive shock if he beats Usyk. But he's got a puncher's chance, yeah. For sure, man, for sure. Heavyweight boxing with a dude who can punch like that definitely has a chance. I just see it as a very slim one as well. Good to see you in too, Kevin, by the way. What do you think about Joe Joyce rematching Zhili Zhang? Yeah, well, he pretty much had to, didn't he? Having hold of that WBO interim title. That's the gateway to a title shot against Usyk or Dubois, whoever wins that. So he had to take it, otherwise he's got to start again and find a new route, doesn't he? I thought maybe they might try and push for a WBC route so Frank Warren can double dip with Fury and Joyce, but I'm not so sure. That fight isn't until September, but we'll get to that. The other fight on the 26th, of course, is a dumb one. Dumb as. Just let me see if it's on BoxRec. Might not be because it's not an official boxing match. No, it's not on BoxRec because it's not a real boxing match. Fucking ridiculous. So, the WBC champion Tyson Fury is confirmed to be fighting MMA heavyweight Francis Ngannou. For what? Nothing. It's not a sanctioned belt. And apparently it's not an exhibition either. So what is it? What is it? It's a fucking waste of time, is what it is. Tyson Fury is playing games. The biggest disrespect to all the people who pay his purses. He's shitting on all of us. He's fighting a guy who's never had a professional boxing match. Yeah, he's fought in MMA, but so what? This ain't a YouTuber fighting MMA stars like Jake Paul. He is shitting on all of you, all of us, everyone who pays to watch boxing. He is shitting in your mouth. Think about it. We pay for fights we want to see. We don't pay for current world champions to watch, to fight these non-boxers. And people say, oh, but Muhammad Ali did it against that Japanese wrestler. Yeah, he did do it. But he'd already secured himself as undisputed. He already cleaned out the division at the time. So he went and did this because there was nothing else to do. And this bullshit that Frank Warren and Tyson Fury coming out with, that nobody is available to fight him. Horse shit. Absolute horse shit. Martin Bakole would fight you for nothing, Tyson Fury. Just for that belt, that's all he wants. Frank Sanchez would fight you for a small amount of money. Philip Hergovic would have fought you instead of Dempsey McKean. But no, we've got to make up bullshit excuses. Tell everybody we do what we want to fucking do because we are the man. Talk about how Tyson Fury says he's the best there's ever been, talking about a legacy subject, but he won't fucking fight for legacy. Dude's a piece of shit. Yeah, he's a great boxer in the ring, but outside of the ring, I've got no time for the motherfucker. No time for him, because he's shitting in my mouth. You understand? Anybody comes on here talking about Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou was a great fight, I'll just block them straight away. I've got no time for dickheads like that. No time whatsoever. Fury is a time waster. He's a greedy belly that shits in his own fan's mouth. Fucking asshole. Excuse my language. James Jameson, what's up, man? Good to see you. It's been a minute, bro. Yeah, so I can't look up whatever else is on that card because it's not on boxing, because it's not a real boxing match. So I'll be boycotting it. I won't be watching the shit. There's much better stuff on at the same time. i.e. Dubois and Usyk. I mean, it's not really competitive, but at least it's a real boxing match, and at least it's a mandatory somebody who's earned their shot. You know? The only fight anybody wants to see Fury in is against Usyk. I mean, I could tolerate a Joshua fight, but I'm quite glad that Joshua's freezing Fury out after all this bullshit. He's not interested in trying to negotiate with him. He's negotiated with him twice over long periods of time, all for nothing. So, a big fat fuck you, Fury. Stay out in the cold by yourself, you big bald dosser. Big bald duck king diva. Usyk is the man in the heavyweights. Yeah, I agree, man. At least he's got no crumbs. He wants to fight the best. It's not all about money. It is for Tyson Fury. And now that everybody's got it quite clear that it's all about money and not about legacy, he's lost so many fans. Tysort's looking Tyson's looking at the money. He's thinking, I'll have some of that easy money. Of course, yeah. It's going to backfire though, isn't it? Nobody's going to want to negotiate him. Not anybody that's worth a ton of shit is not going to be able. He's already proven that it's impossible to negotiate fairly with this man if you're a top boxer that deserves to have a shot. It's all fine and dandy when you're you're fighting somebody like Derek Chisora, who's got double-digit losses and just wants a payday. He'll take whatever he's given. But then when it comes to somebody who's actually worth a ton of shit, somebody who's earned the right to be fighting the WBC champion, unless it's a purse, but you ain't got a shit show in hell of making a deal with this dickhead. Not a fair one anyway. Tyson's looking at the money. I read that one. We can eyes some of that. James Jameson, AJ v White is a real fight. It is a real fight, but it's not top of the division. I think it is extremely competitive, like I was saying earlier in the stream, because both fighters have had flaws exposed, chin being worn down, mental fortitude being damaged for Joshua. So it is a competitive fight, and I like the idea of it. I just wish it would have happened back when Joshua was a champion. I would have been more comfortable paying for it then. As it is now, it's just a fight, isn't it? A couple top 10 guys having a fight. So I don't know if it's pay-per-view worthy myself anymore. What do you guys reckon? Is it pay-per-view worthy? Wallen would have been a better fight. I agree, man. There was plenty of opponents out there. Don't buy any of the shit that Frank Warren's saying. Some of the interviews I've been watching lately with Frank is funny. He keeps tripping himself up, trying not to say the wrong thing, stuttering, and then changing the subject before answering. Doesn't answer a question. Swerves it, changed it to the next subject to try and make it look like Fury's the one that wants to fight everybody. Don't pull a fucking blind man. Don't pull a legless man's leg. It's just stupid. Fucking idiots, man. What we got here? Not really pay-per-view, but could be good fight. Both on the side, yeah. See, they've got that Hergovic and McKean fight, 2 unbeatens on there as a co-main to try and boost it a bit. I'd still like to see, I saw Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide have been ordered to fight. I know it's getting a bit close, but it'd be good if they could stick that one on there as well. For the Lonsdale belt, that would certainly get it pretty close to pay-per-view worthy for me, I think. Having Southern Area title on there, having that IBF mandatory spot up for grabs with Hergovic and Dempsey McKean, and having a Lonsdale belt on there as well, that would certainly boost it right up, I reckon. But we'll see what happens. Eddie's trying to get the angry Joshua back fighting his enemy. Yeah. It's not really Eddie's job though, it's more Derek James's job now, isn't it? So it'll be interesting as well to see what impact Derek James is going to be having on this fight. AJ's had a bit of time with him since our last Usyk fight, so we shall see what happens. I'll have a quick chat about the Zhili Zhang and Joe Joyce fight. I still think it's a very good fight. Let me bring it up. Joe Joyce box rec. Alright, so let's click events, see if I've got anything else on there yet. Nah, nothing else on there yet. Oh yeah, they do have another fight on there as well. But Anthony Yard's going to be fighting on there. Fighting the almighty TBA. Alright, so we've got Zhili Zhang taking on Joe Joyce. This rematch is going to be on the 23rd of September. And where's the venue? It's going to be at Wembley Arena. Okay. Oh, not Wembley Stadium, that's different, right? Wembley Arena and Wembley Stadium are two different things. So, yeah, this will be an interesting fight. I didn't expect Zhang to be able to put too much of a dent in Joe Joyce first time around, but you know, you might have 5 times the bone density of a normal human being, but your skin's still the same. So if the skin gets broken, you're in trouble. You could see in that fight that Zhili Zhang was starting to slow down a bit by the time he stopped Joe Joyce. So, what round was it? Was it round 7? Let me go back. Round 6. It was round 6 the doctor stopped the fight. So, you know, you could see Zhili was starting to slow down a bit, but he wasn't putting out a hell of a lot of output, and that's the kind of fighter he is. He doesn't put huge output in, but when he does throw, he's pretty accurate and lands most of the time. Obviously, that straight left and that left hook upstairs are problems. I'd like to see Zhili mix it up to the body a bit more often, but at the same time, I can see what he's trying to do. He's relying on damaging upstairs to stop the fight, because I think if it goes past maybe 8 rounds, you're going to see Zhang slow down considerably, and his defense gets a lot worse when it gets past about 8 rounds. So I think it's going to be a case of can Joe Joyce get through 6 rounds without being damaged too much, without being hurt to the body too much, without getting slowed down too much. So if he can get past 6 rounds without that damage, then I think there's a high likelihood Joyce can stop Zhang later on because of fatigue. But what's he going to do? I mean, he's 37 or something years old. He's not a young pup, and it's pretty late for him to be learning new tricks like moving your goddamn head. You know, if he just moved his head and slipped some of those left hands, it could have been a whole different fight the first time around. It could be totally different the second time around if he's actually learned to move his head a little bit or see the punches coming. But even Joyce said himself, you know, he could see the left hand coming, he just couldn't get the hell out of the way of it. So something's going to have to change, because you can guarantee that left is going to be coming down the pipe all night if Joe hasn't made any kind of changes. And if he hasn't made any kind of changes, I can't see him getting out of that fight without getting damaged again, because Zhili hits hard, man. His hands are actually pretty damn quick when he gets them moving. His feet aren't too bad. He moves his head a little bit. I mean, he's solid all around, and he's got Chinese power. So I don't know, man. I'm going to leave a prediction for that fight a little bit further down the track, but I think that's one of the most competitive fights we will see this year. Yes, Joe Joyce got stopped the first time around, but I think it's going to be hella competitive. So getting back over to the chat. Nobody beats Father Time. Ain't that a fact, James? He's unbeaten, just like TBA. Joyce needs to land the jab. Yeah, well, he's been able to do that most times throughout his career because he's been the bigger fighter, but this dude's the same height, same reach, pretty much. He just much heavier and hits harder. I don't think Joe Joyce coming in as light as he did last time is a good idea either. I think he needs to put on that extra 10 pounds, like back to where he was before. It'll help with his durability. Obviously, it's not going to help with the skin on his face, but it will certainly help with durability, and maybe it'll give him a little bit more power to try and deter Zhang a little bit more weight behind the punches. Oh, George Foreman. He kind of did beat Father Time, but he eventually lost to him, didn't he? Eventually, age catches up with you, but how old Zhang? He's 40 on the dot. He turned 40 a couple of days after that last Joe Joyce fight. So he still seems to move alright for an older dude, and his reactions seem okay. He seemed to be slipping a fair few punches against Zhang. Even against Hergovic, he still slipped a fair few punches, even though he ate a fair few as well. So I don't know. He seems to be doing okay. It's going to be one of those ones for Zhang. I think it's going to get to a point, and it's just going to be tip off the edge. Boof, shot. All he's got left is power. So we'll see though. 27 to 32 is your prime. I think heavyweights are a bit later, to be honest. I'd say heavyweights maybe 29 to 35. The reason being is in the heavyweight division everything's much slower. You don't need to rely as much on reactions, as much on of course speed is important, but most people aren't that fast at heavyweight, so you know the changes with age don't seem to affect the heavyweights as much as the guys who have got to cut weight to make a division. This is my opinion, but many people have it as well. Yeah, I think you're right though, James. 27 to 32 is the prime for most weight divisions. Possibly gets a little bit earlier when you get down to the tiny weights, you know, because they're always growing. Oh, there's my alarm. I'm gonna go and pour the methanol off my moonshine. I'll be back in 1 second. No, not quite enough methanol off yet, so another 5 minutes of the still running. Hey Google, set timer for 6 minutes. There we go. Cooking up some moonshine. Alright, Joyce wants to up the pace. But can he do that? Yes, it's a good idea. You just have to try it and see how he goes, I think, because you know, the more you throw, the more openings you give your opponent as well. So if he's going to give Zhang more opportunities to land that left down the pipe or the right hook, it could work, but it could go the other way as well. It could go the other way as well. Good body. Nice to see you, man. It's an interesting name. Usyk can stop Triple D. Rounds 8 to 12. Yeah. That's pretty much, if I was going to bet on a stoppage, that's what I'd do. I'd take the 8 to 12, maybe even the 6 to 12, but the odds wouldn't be quite as good. But 8 to 12, it's 9 to 12. Because if you're going to take group rounds of 4, you got 1 to 4, 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12. They don't do groups of 5 rounds. Sometimes they do groups of 6. Be safer, like I say, but the odds would be smaller. But yeah, oh, there was another card. Let me look it up. Guido Vianello, and who was he fighting? Was he fighting Stephen Shaw? Sounds right. Yeah, there it is. Oh no, Simon Keane. Not Stephen Shaw. Simon Keane, the Canadian boy. Stephen Shaw's fighting Joseph Goodall this weekend. So, Guido Vianello is fighting on the 19th. Saturday the 19th of August. Okay, so that's a week before the Fury, Ngannou and Usyk. Okay, so yeah, we've got 3 weeks in a row. We've got the Joshua White card on the 12th. Then the 19th is it's actually Artur Beterbiev is taking on Callum Smith as the main event, and this is going to be in Canada. What else have we got here? Christian and Billy, the co-main. He's going to be taking on. There's a person with the last name Demon. Hard case. Demon Nicholson. Don't know who the hell the dude is. He's 26-5-1, and they are super middleweights. Anyway, but then we get into Simon Keane and Guido Vianello. I think this is a very interesting fight. I mean, Simon Keane a lot of the time is aggressive, but he's a knockout waiting to happen. We've seen him get knocked out actually by, who was it? Yeah, he got sparkoed by him. Who was it? Where's the loss? Fuck, it's down a bit. There it is. Dylan Carmen, that's right. They had a rematch, and then Simon Keane stopped Dylan Carmen the second time around. But yeah, I saw Simon Keane's last fight, and it didn't look convincing, eh? He gassed a bit, and then he tried to box a bit, and it didn't look pretty. It looked clumsy. Was it Eric Molina? It was Eric Molina. He looked a bit caca. He did manage to stop Molina in the 7th round, but he was looking like he was in trouble. And Eric Molina, come on. It's Eric Molina. Yeah, he's got a one punch chance with his sneaky counters, but it's Eric Molina, man. So yeah, Simon Keane hasn't really beaten anybody of any note. I guess the biggest name you could say he beat was Shondell Terrell Winters. He knocked him out in the 9th round out of 10. So, Guido Vianello, to me, the dude's got no power, and he's got no inside game. If you can get him inside, start throwing punches, he doesn't know what to do. If he can't grab hold of you, you can knock him out. But we saw Guido Vianello in his last fight, Jonathan Rice. As soon as I saw that fight made, I was betting on that straight away because they had Guido Vianello as the favourite. I was like, you muppets. Straight away I was on that shit. And sure enough, Jonathan Rice stopped Guido Vianello in the 7th round. It did look like Guido had more in the gas tank and whatnot. Okay, there's my timer. I'll be back this time. Hopefully I'll pour off the methanol and be back in just a minute. Alright, methanol's poured off. Nobody will be going blind. And the rest has got to still out. You set this alarm for when it's finished. Set alarm for 1 hour 45 minutes.
You got it. Your alarm's set for 12:50 p.m.
Set alarm for 1 hour 35 minutes.
You got it. Your alarm's set for 12:40 p.m.
Right, there we go. That should be sorted. So yeah, that's Guido Vianello and Simon Keane is a good fight. What else is there? Any other heavies on that card? Because that one's coming up in a couple of weeks. What else is on here? Simon Keane. Middleweight, light heavyweight. It's getting down to 6 rounds, so let's check the rounds of this one. Yeah, Simon Keane and Guido Vianello is a 10 rounder, so could be interesting, that one. There's bugger all else on that card with regard to the big boys. So I think that's pretty much the next couple of months covered. I'm sure there'll be other heavyweight fights that will pop up as well. I like Joseph Parker. He let me down. What? I like Joseph Parker. He let me down badly. Fury sparring partner. Now LOL. Yeah, we did have a first round knockout over Django Apilu, who knocked out Hemir Hio. But he's a totally different kind of fighter these days. I don't have a lot of faith in him at the top level, but you know, he's like a high level gatekeeper these days, I think. Top 10 gatekeeper. If you can't beat Joseph Parker, you don't believe in the top, belong in the top 10. Sonny Edwards, Bam Rodriguez. Gonna be amazing. Oh, we've got Stephen Fulton and Naota Inoue coming up on the 22nd too. On Naoya Inoue. That's a good fight. I'll be looking forward to that one. It'll be in Japan. It'll be all hours for some people. I think it'll be like midnight here in New Zealand. It'll be on, so we'll see. Let's got it. In training Cambosis over Maxi Hughes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really too interested, to be honest. How George Cambosis fights balls the shit out of me. So we'll see. Could be fun, might not be. But little fella's not really my big thing. Hannibal B in the house. What's going on? What you think of the new American fighter? Can't think of. American fighter. Can't think of his name. He beat Charles Martin the other week. Jared Anderson. Oh, he's not a new American fighter. He's been around for a while. But he's the next best thing coming out of America. That's for sure. Heavyweight. Yeah, he's a very good fighter, full of energy. He's only going to fight for another 3 years though. He reckons he's going to retire when he's 27. So taking on Andre Rudenko. I think he's on the 26th of August as well, actually, in Toledo. He's taking on Andre Rudenko. So that'll be another points decision, I think, unless he can stop Rudenko, which is possible because Rudenko's getting pretty long in the tooth. However, I've only ever seen Rudenko hurt once. There's a body shot from Ajit Kabiel, who isn't known as a big puncher. And Rudenko's been in there with some big punches, so we'll see. I don't think Rudenko's got a chance of winning. Don't get me wrong. He's durable, he's tough. He's got a decent punch if he can land it, but he'll be covering up a lot and surviving, looking for one big punch later on in the fight. I expect that to go the distance, that one. Julio Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani got a major problem at 118. Wonder why Inoue didn't fight him, because Inoue had already cleaned out the division. He was undisputed at 115. He's gone up to at 118. He's gone up to 122 to try and achieve greatness. Take on Stephen Fulton. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. It's a big change though. Stephen Fulton's big for 122 and Inoue's small for 122. Very small. I mean, he's small at 118, but he still cleaned that out. We'll see what happens. He couldn't get rid of Charles Martin, with Martin taking the fight on 10 days notice. So is he overhyped by the Yanks? I don't think so. Charles Martin, the way he was fighting, he was looking for counter punches, looking for one big shot. If Charles Martin was fighting like he did against Adam Kalnacki when he was coming forward throwing shitloads of punches, then it could be different. But you could see he was trying to counter punch, and Jared was getting a bit careless at times as well, trying to make that statement of getting Martin out of there. He could have gotten Martin out of there if he was not so impatient, in my opinion, but Martin can bang. He hurt Anderson in the earlier rounds when Anderson was fighting out of a southpaw stance, but Anderson dealt with it okay. Didn't go down. Charles Martin got knocked down. That means Jared had 10 days also to try to make a game plan. There was also the fact that Martin was trained, wasn't he? He must have been training for another fight or something, because look at the condition he was in for that fight. That's the best condition I've seen Charles Martin in his whole career. So short notice or not, it is what it is. The one thing in common between the two opponents that Anderson did have was Zan Kazabutsky was a southpaw as well, so he was training for a southpaw at the very least. I think Kazabutsky and Martin are both 6'5" as well, with a similar reach. So the difference is Kazabutsky would have been a pressure fighter, whereas Charles Martin's a counter puncher. So two different styles completely. What have I got here? That means Jared had only 10 days to prepare a game plan. I'll give him a B. Yeah, B's about right. I agree. To be fair, that's the best I've seen Martin fight for a long time. Yeah, he did fight pretty well. He fought pretty decent against Ortiz as well until he got stopped. And like I was saying before, that fight against Adam Kalnacki was actually really fun to watch. It was a good fight. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch that one. It's a goodie. Ruiz v Wilder. Yes, we did miss that one. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet. They've been pissing around for months since it's been ordered. Let me see. Deontay Wilder box rec. Are we confirmed yet? Nah, we're not confirmed yet. I see Andy Ruiz keeps posting shorts on YouTube or whatnot. Come on. Pay me what I'm worth. I want to get this fight done. If it really, it should have been sent to purse bid already, because they were ordered by the WBC months and months ago, and then it just went all quiet, like they didn't want the fight, or somebody didn't want the fight. I think it was Wilder, because he was exploring other options, so he said no, I don't want the fight. That's why they didn't order the purse bid. But if it's back on now, they should have a deadline for the purse bid, because it looks like they don't, both teams aren't able to negotiate a fair deal for them both to get the fight done. So get it done by force. If you don't get it done by force, then it's going to mess up the schedule for Joshua Wilder. I think it's already moved to January. It was supposed to be in December, so we'll see what happens. Richard Torres from the USA is a decent heavyweight. Also, he just needs more work. He's too small too, doesn't help. Mind you, he's only an inch shorter than Alexander Usyk, I think. So 6'2", I think. Let me look that up just to be sure. I'm pretty sure he's 6'2". He might be 6 foot though. He's a fun fighter to watch, that's for sure. Richard Torres, the Olympic silver medalist from 2020. That's the wrong Richard Torres. Richard Torres Jr., that's his name, eh? Richard Torres Jr., there he is. The card shark. Still comes to the wrong one. Richard Torres Jr., USA's Golden Hope. Oh, for fuck's sake. Won't take me to the right box rec profile. Alright, we'll do it that way then. Richard Torres Jr. God damn it. Won't show me any of the profiles. Why can't I find it? Come on, you goddamn thing. I know about him anyway. Yeah, Richard Torres. He's early in his career, silver medalist. Comes forward, tries to blow guys out. He was going to have another fight, but he had an injury, so I haven't seen him in a little while. But he's in that ESPN stable. We'll see a lot more of him as he comes through. He's pretty decent, that's for sure, but he's a bit undersized. And I don't know if he's got the footwork and the actual punch selection to make a noise at the top of the division. But for now, definitely enjoying Richard Torres' entertaining fights, blowing out journeymen and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see how he goes when he steps up a bit. It might be a little bit. And I didn't know he was that short. But I like his bar fighting. Yeah, man. Yeah, he goes balls to the wall, eh? It's entertaining, that's for damn sure. That's what you got to do as a pro. The guy who beat him at the Olympics, Bakhtir Jalilov, isn't as exciting, that's for sure. He'll stick behind the jab, and I'm not so sure how good Jalalov's going to do when he gets up either, because he's used to being the big man. When he gets in there against guys the same size as him, I don't know how he's going to go. Because, yeah, he just kept Torres on the outside in the Olympic final. Kept him on the jab, landed a few right hands, but not too many. Torres was just scrambling, trying to get inside and on him all the time. I mean, the dude's like 6'8" or something, isn't he? Bakiria Jalalov. So someone who's 6'2" trying to get in with half a foot height and reach difference, it's a tall task, that's for sure. "6'2" is short like Mike Tyson was, under 6 foot. He was 5'11", but when Mike Tyson was fighting, a 6'4" heavyweight was considered big, a big dude. Now that's average. 6'6" is just above average now, whereas back then 6'2" was average for a heavyweight. So big difference, man, big difference. And Mike Tyson was a phenomenon. We all know that. Hey, I don't think Richard Torres has the potential to be such a phenomenon as Mike Tyson, even though he's small for a heavyweight. But like I was saying, it's only an inch shorter than Alexander Usyk. So once again, Alexander Usyk's a totally different kettle of fish, isn't he? The dude's full to the brim with skill. He's not all about coming forward, knocking you out. He's about hit, not get hit. He's about the sweet science. And Richard Torres is much further from that. I guess you could call him closer to Mike Tyson than he is to a Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk, right? So I'll give you that. Anyways, I think that's about us for today, fellas. I'll try and get a bit more content coming out, some prediction videos and whatnot. Now my kids are back at school, get the show back on the road. But don't forget to get over to the Big Boys Boxing Discord server. There is the free one there, and there is also the members only server, the streaming for that big heavyweight card that's on ESPN. So tune in if you'd like to become a member for the channel to get access to that members only Discord server, where we stream fights, a lot of other stuff as well. The information is there. Just click on the join button below this video. And yeah, so that is us for today. I hope y'all have enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out. Alright team, that's all we have for you today. Hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe, and that bell icon for future notifications so you don't miss nothing. Also, get over to the Big Boys Boxing Discord server. The invite link is in the description. There's lots of things you can find there, like fight links, boxing chat, prediction leagues, fight streams, and fight parties. So get into it. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. So